Hey folks, welcome to Proposal Week. Last week we were focusing on audience awareness to prepare us for this moment when we can really analyze and dig into the audience that we're writing for this week, which is the Seattle Design Festival. Okay? This is a annual festival. This is a festival that's focused on arts and culture and community and design, right? So you start to get a sense of what matters to this organization, right? It's bringing people together. It's bringing people together through interaction. It's bringing people together through the built environment and making and doing things in the arts. Okay. I actually went to this in 2015. I didn't know where I was at, and then I realized this is the Seattle Design Festival. It's at South Lake Union every year. So again, they put out this call for proposals. So we're gonna pick up this call for proposal this year. Okay. Um, so this week we have some readings and we have um, the technical challenge, which is the proposal. It's a short proposal. They ask for about 1 to 2 pages, okay, and we'll take a look at this in a second. Um, but if you go on the assignment, I give you some background and some purpose. I explain, in general terms, what is a proposal in general, right? You're trying to persuade your readers or your audience to do something, to buy something, or to accept an idea, okay? And in this proposal, you really want to convince and persuade the Seattle Design Festival to accept your proposal, right? Your idea for an event, an activity, a Skillshare, a virtual talk to bring the community together through some kind of interaction, right? It's really open on what you can propose. They have a general theme of what if, which I'll talk about in a second. And then um, we'll look at this in a second too. It's really, really open on what format you can work in or your idea can take shape in. So, again, about 1 to 2 pages. You'll also give feedback in the discussion on at least one other colleague's proposal. I give you peer review suggestions. And my peer review suggestions are basically um, the acceptance criteria for the Seattle Design Festival. This is what they're looking for. Okay, I'll just sort of read a little bit of it. There, this is this is how they accept proposals. They accept them if you answer their what if theme, right? You demonstrate the relevance of some kind of interaction or design. You empower communities through your proposal in some ways. You promote collaboration in some way. Your proposal is thorough, it's not vague, right? So take a look at their criteria for what makes a good proposal. Um, the hidden step here is, this is the Seattle Design Festival, and I get like we're not all designers, we're not all in um, game design or graphic arts, but design, if you think of it broadly, and Seattle Design Festival does, it is creating an interaction, an interactive moment between you and a participant, between the built environment um, and the uh, the participants at the Seattle Design Festival. And folks, the audience for this, some of us were a little askew in the chat. The audience for this is not just designers and architects. Most of the people that went when I was there were general community members, right? Middle-aged folks, young children, older folks, right? Like, yeah, like some design folks are going to this for sure, but this is like people just wander in from like South Lake Union or downtown or Green Lake or Fremont, or like they just, they hear about it and they go. It's a community event. So that's your audience, right? So it should make sense to a general Seattle audience. Okay, so let's take a look at you have the the Seattle Design Festival gives you 7 questions to respond to. Okay, and I'll sort of show you where these come from. Right, their call for proposals. If you click on their call for proposals, you get the exact questions. Right, so the questions I'm giving you in the Canvas assignment are the questions that they're really asking you. And folks, you for this assignment, right, I want you to post this to Canvas, right? This is a Canvas assignment. If you choose to go all the way, right, which is optional, if you actually want to submit your proposal, you have the link to actually go through. This is what the actual proposal looks like. Okay, it's a little bit bigger. It has a few more steps. Okay, but I always want to make assignments that are real world. You have a real audience. There's a real purpose. There's a real message to get out here, right? This is this is a real proposal if you actually want to go all the way. If you do go all the way, they ask for a few more things, right? It is free to submit your proposal, right? So just do the fee waived one, or your nonprofit or your emerging designer, right? These are all free. They only charge if architects, like working architects or working designers, apply for this, right? Because they're sort of like getting their designs out. It's sort of like it becomes sort of promotional for them, right? Like, oh, we have our new architect design at the Seattle Design Festival, so they're getting something kind of big out of it. We're, emerging thinkers, emerging designers. So just I would click on that if you're really serious. And some of the extra steps are things like, contact information, who's in your group, right? If you notice, they really, really, really prefer like groups to submit, right? Not individuals. So if you do want to go all the way, I would say get some folks from class, right? Maybe pull one submission together, and I'll have a chat next week that asks you to sort of vote or just sort of recommend, right? Which proposals from class did you really like, right? And feel free to coalesce or right sign on to those, or ask folks if they want to group up, right? This is if you want to go all the way. But as you can see, the actual application is a little bit long. There's like more steps, right? I'm not giving you don't have to do all these steps for just the Canvas version, right? They also sort of want you to start thinking about uh, what is it, social media, right? Like how will you help um, promote this, right? That's part of their like all the way application. Okay, so there's that. Um, you also have some great readings this week on accessibility, sustainability, and some other things, right? Because they have a question on how is your proposal accessible? How is your proposal sustainable? Um, what kind of design or interaction will go in your proposal? Okay, so if you click on readings and materials, you'll see some readings that can help you develop those ideas. Okay, and so when describing your proposal, I really, really, really want you to go past, oh, my proposal is, I'm making a, right? Like you have to respond to their what if, and it's very open, right? What if, Seattle did gentrification a different way? What if we had a community cookbook, right? Where we're going to let the community design a cookbook and give recipes. We'll have giant plaques. Folks can all fill out their favorite grandma's recipe. We'll put all those giant recipes together and make this large book at the Seattle Design Festival, right? See how I'm getting people to interact. See how I'm using design, which is an interaction, right? I'll have large poster boards. Everyone, can put down their favorite recipe or their favorite cultural recipe, and then we bring it all together on the final day of the festival. Or, I'm going to have large posters. I want the community to design plaques, right? Who do you think should be honored or remembered in your neighborhood, right? I live in Columbia City. There's a lot of history here, right? So let's say, for my what if, what if um, Seattle folks, people living in Columbia City, people living in Bellevue or Kirkland or West Seattle, what if they got to decide who was honored in their community, right? Who had plaques, or what events, right, were remembered through plaques, or what animal, like animals or his, right? Like let the people decide what history is important for their community, right? And I'm gonna give people poster boards in the shape of like maybe people or maybe like events, and people can fill in I think this person should be honored from my community, or this event, or like we have a dog park that was sort of created after a dog in Columbia City. Like I want to honor that original dog, right? Like there's no plaque to that dog, right? So do you get what I mean by you need to really answer this what if call? That is the main part of this proposal. It's and I'll show you this. I think this is pretty key. Usually, right, when we are talking about technical writing, it's, is it clear? Is it complete? Is it coherent? We're going to add a new C. And the new C is it now compelling? Okay? So your proposal does need to be compelling for this challenge. So it should be something they haven't seen before. It should be something interesting. It should be something that really answers this what if, right? Imaginative thought experiment in a really interesting way. Okay? And take a look. You can see examples from past years, right? You can see what sort of has been done. So I'm, in the call for proposals, this is one of our links. You can go to, where is it? Within this reading, right? This is like 20 pages. It is a lot. You can go to explore past pop-ups, right? See examples from the past. Explore past main stage programs, right? So if you want to see examples of what they're looking for, right? There's a video here that's going to show you a video. I'm going to look at explore past pop-ups, right? I think that one's really important. Let's take a look at that. Right, explore past pop-ups. Right, you can really see that they really, like this one is Seattleites united to write and illustrate a children's book about their community. So you can sort of see how they laid out sort of like an open book structure and asked people to write maybe a chapter or a scene, and then brought it together for this, choose your own adventure, Seattle created storybook, right, for children, a children's book about Seattle written by Seattleites, right? So do you see the interactive element here? And it's not, right, when you think of design, like this is not very technical. They just basically have some pages with some prompts for, fill in a scene, right, about a storybook in Seattle. So look at these examples. Some of them are a little bit more involved. Some of them are much more simple, right? This one is a mapping project, right? Here's some string. Make your own map of Seattle. What are points that are meaningful to you, maybe based on emotion or experience or your personal history, right? So it's like you're making this unique mind map of Seattle, right? So these are just some, right, of the past proposals. So take a look at that. So that is essentially this week's challenge. It is a 1 to 2 page proposal that picks up, right, this theme of, what if, right? What if Seattleites could honor, right, their own community's history, right? Create those community history plaques. What if we could make our own community cookbook in Seattle, right? What if we could create our own maps of understanding, right? So there's all sorts of ways to think about this what if theme. And again, it should be clear, it should be complete, it should be also compelling, right? So this one is more, this might be our toughest challenge because it really requires that imaginative and creative element. Okay, so I can't wait to see what you folks do. Good luck. And I'm hoping for a robust chat this week. I can't wait to see what you guys do. Thank you. Email me if you have any questions.